Everyone, welcome to this webcast called frAGILE, if you like. It's on NextGen marketing, and the idea is to share our latest insights on how to connect with the younger generation. And if I say young, because I'm still feeling young myself, I'm of course referring to what we call NextGen. And NextGen is kind of a combination of the millennial generation, today the young adults, 21 to 36-year-olds, and Generation Z or Z, the upcoming and the real young generation, today until 20 years old. I'm Joeri van Bergh. I'm the author of this book, How Cool Brands Stay Hot, which is a marketing and branding book on branding to next gens, branding to millennials or Generation Y, and branding to Gen Z. And also, I'm one of the founders of Insights Consulting, the research agency that did all the research and all the insights that we have used in this book. And lately, this year, actually, together with my colleague Katia Paolini, we've written this new book sign. It's called frAGILE, just like the presentation. And it's a 100-pager, but really in a nice layout that gives you the latest insights on what we have done this year. And this year we wanted to do something different, not just doing consumer research, but actually asking practitioners, marketing people, probably like you watching this webcast, how they deal with the new or with the next consumer. I will make a little summary of this paper that we've written in the next 45 minutes. If you have any questions, we are here live on YouTube. You can always send them to this email address. That's marketing@insights-consulting.com. Or, of course, if you do have a Gmail account or a Google account, you can use the live chat, which would be at the right side of the screen, right next to my head. And we'll listen to you and we'll read your questions. And at the end of the session, we'll make sure we can connect back to them. Let's start with the presentation, and welcome once again. So what we've done this year is we've been interviewing some people, senior marketing executives working for various brands in various industries across the world, in different regions of the world. This is the total list. As you can see, 26 interviews with one main question. And the main question was, what is different if you do marketing today to everyone who is below the age of 36? Now, I know this is a webcast, so I'm not really talking to a live audience, at least not face to face. But I'd like to make it a bit more interactive by asking you some questions to reflect on. And the questions will be related to the Oxford Dictionary Word of the Year 2016. Every year the Oxford Dictionary is selecting one word that was really dominant in the past year, and I don't think they have already announced what the word for 2017 is, but the word of last year, do you remember what it was? It was not FOMO or not LOL, and it was not even an emoji, the heart emoji or the laughing out loud emoji. It was more related to lies in a certain manner, and also to some elections we had in the western side of the world. And they selected post-truth and a post-truth society as the keyword of 2016. They define it as a society in which ideas are largely framed by emotions rather than facts. And well, as a presenter, I like to use new concepts in every new presentation. So that's why in the following 45 minutes, I will ask you indirectly some questions on certain case studies And let's reflect over there whether you think it's a fact, which means it's 100% true, or it's an alternative fact, which means it has some parts of it that are really true, but some parts of it are more alternative facts or even lies, you could say. Now, the first case is related to a runner-up word of the Oxford's election that didn't make it because post-truth was the word of the year 2016. And it's colorophobia. I don't know if you know what colorophobia means. It's a phobia, so it's a fear for something. But do you know what people are afraid of if they suffer of colorophobia? They are actually afraid of scary, evil clowns. And it was selected as the word of the year 2016 because starting in August last year, people started seeing evil clowns all around them, all around the world. It started in South Carolina, 19 August 16, with a young boy, I think he was 9 years old, who said to his mom, "Mom, I was lured into the woods by two evil-looking clowns who tried to get me into the woods." Urban legend or not, let's reflect about this. The thing is, within 2 months after this first registration of an evil clown, suddenly in nearly all states of the US and also afterwards in 9 of the 13 provinces in Canada, and then in the UK, then in many countries in Europe, Singapore, Asia, New Zealand, Australia, and Latin America, within 2 months there were over 200 evil clowns reported to the police. And this was all related to a marketing campaign, a campaign for the remake of Stephen King's novel, the movie, It. And the question is, do you think this is a fact or do you think this is more like an alternative fact? So think about it for a couple of seconds. It's an alternative fact. The first part was completely true, but the last part, the idea that this would be a part of a marketing campaign was not true. And at least it was denied by the studios behind the movie. As you can see next to me, there is a YouTube channel called Killer Clowns, which exists since 2014. The creator of this YouTube channel is a millennial, Matteo Moroni, who lives in the beautiful town of Perugia in Umbria, Italy. And from Perugia, Italy, he's creating prank movies in which he's scaring the hell out of people in Italy, dressed up as an evil clown. And the thing is, he has 4.7 million subscribers to his YouTube channel, and most of his movies get over 500,000 views. So the hypothesis that Matteo Moroni, an Italian millennial, has an impact on how the world reacts to evil clowns is more prevalent and perhaps more true than that it's a marketing campaign. What we saw in 2016 was that bored teens at the end of the holidays, that's August, started to imitate copycat behavior. This guy, what he was doing in his prank movies all around the world. And of course, then also some criminals thought, hey, that's a nice idea. Let's dress up as a clown and get people's money. And before you knew it, it was a global phenomenon that also disappeared very fastly. So 2 lessons coming from that. One, of course, the power of YouTube channels and connecting with the young generations. 2, sociologists look at this phenomenon of colorophobia as something interesting because they have seen that there is a higher fear of clowns whenever society is in distress, when there's more social anxiety, for instance, because scary clowns became world leaders today, not only in the West, but also in the East, when there's more fear for terrorism, when there's what we call a dystopian world, there's also more fear for clowns. For some reason, I know the reason, but it would take us too far away from this marketing presentation. Another conclusion is, and this is a quote of one of the people we've interviewed for the paper, quote from Victor Hugo, working for Axe, the Unilever brand, Lynx in the UK. He says Gen Z is born into a much harder society with less optimism, more realism, but it's quite hard today to grow up with all things that are happening today. So the first part of the paper is actually on this. It's a fragile world. It's a world where things that were known today are totally changing. And one example is related to this date. I've noticed in my presentations that November 11, reactions to this date are quite different. Some people refer to elections, other parts of the world say, hey, this is the start of Carnival in our country. In some other countries they say, no, it's the end of the world, First World War. But in Asia they refer to 11/11 as the symbolic date that was chosen by some millennial university students as the day to celebrate being a single, because they were frustrated that there is a holiday for couples, Valentine's Day, on the 14th of the second month of the year, but there was no day for singles, and they changed it already in the 90s. Today, 11/11 is also an important day for retailers, especially in Asia, and it's coming to the rest of the world. Alibaba, since 2011, so 11/11/11, have used 11/11 as the main alternative for Black Friday. And Alibaba today is doing over $20 billion of online sales on one day, offering discounts up till 60%. And that's doubling the amount of sales that Black Friday and Cyber Monday combined is bringing into all US retailers. Not only because, of course, China, it's a big market, but also because there's an increasing number of singles in society. Euromonitor estimates that by 2020, which is only 2 years from now, there will be 300 million single households, and that's a rise of 80% in the past 10 years. And in many cities across the world, the amount of singles is above 60%. So of course, things are changing in society. There are some new alternatives. For instance, in the travel business, solo traveling went up 3 times in the past 3 years, and there are providers like Solos Vacations already offering only holidays for single travelers. Another trend in society related to more singles, as one explanation, is otherhood. Otherhood is a term coined by the author Melanie Notkin. And in her book, she describes how today young people are postponing to get children because of giving a priority to their careers, for instance, or because they're still single. Many millennials are still single, and many Gen Zs, of course, too. And some millennials are experimenting with the idea of raising a living being. And first they start with a plant. That's quite safe. Often they move to raising a pet. So the pet food market is really booming. And that's one of the reasons why it's booming, because millennials, and also because Asian markets, there are more millennials that first want to raise pets. And it's a difference in society. If you have more singles, if you have less mothers, the theoretical emphasis and target group of families with children might be relevant if you are targeting to Gen X, although they have newly composed families often, or to baby boomers. But if you're talking to the other half of your audience, it's actually not relevant anymore. A great example of how brands are responding to that is what the Reckitt Benckiser brand Durex did during Singles Day, by the way. They introduced an app that automatically replaced babe pictures in your live stream, in your stream on Facebook, with baby pictures with babe pictures. So often millennials were frustrated with the amount of baby pictures from their friends. Of course, if you're not into babies at that point yet, or you're not pregnant yet, but you're trying to, then that can be very frustrating. And Durex came up, of course, related to their business, with an alternative. Not only babes, but also hunks for people on Facebook who are into boys, of course, in this changing society. It's also a flat age society. A flat age society means that people from a certain age, they really don't feel that they are growing older. They feel they will stay young forever. And on the other hand, you have the youngest generation, Generation Z, as you can see, who want to become an adult as fast as possible. And actually their parents are stimulating them to become more independent. The parents of Generation Z are Gen Xers. They like independency, and they're giving these values. They are transferring these values to their children as well. So they want them to have a career from the age of 8, to be involved with active hobbies, to earn some money, why not, as a vlogger. So that means that the differences between ages are really changing. One of the interviewees who's working for PepsiCo, Kurt, said, you know what, a 12-year-old today, he knows as much as a 15-year-old 10 years ago. They are growing up really, really fast. And the next case is related to that. This guy, Eden Smith Xiong, a US guy, he is today in charge of the fashion line of the US retailer Target. Do you think that is a fact, or you think it's an authoritative fact? Could be true, right? But it's not true. It's an alternative fact. Although this guy, 10 years old, is not an ordinary 10 years old. He has his own social media channels, a lot of followers, and his nickname or artist name is Baboy, stands for beautiful, awesome, happy boy. And as you can see, or perhaps you cannot really see it, he has been a professional dancer since the age of 4. And he has been on stage with Justin Bieber on this world tour, and he's only 10 years old. He was asked by the retailer Target to create a capsule limited edition collection together with 9 other Gen Zers, young people. He created a new collection for Target that was sold this year during the art class campaign. And he designed a pair of jeans with an extra pocket on top of the leg. Normally you have the 5-pocket jeans, the classic jeans, but the 6th pocket on top of the leg was really created to put your mobile phone inside, which is quite relevant for this mobile generation, of course. It was a huge sales success as well for Target. He's not in charge of the total fashion line yet at the age of 10. So young kids growing up faster, being more entrepreneurial, wanting to earn money, and of course the parents are stimulating it, and on the other hand they are imitating or copying the behavior of their kids by using the same social media. They also try Snapchat, they also try Instagram, because that's sometimes it's the only connection they still feel with their kids, but also because of course they want to stay young forever. So they're not only peers for their kids, but they also suffer from what we call midorexia. Midorexia actually means that from your middle age, that's my age, you start to act 10 to 15 years younger than your real age, because you think it will keep you cool, and it means you buy the same brands, you buy younger clothes, but you also want to go to festivals, to music festivals like this one. This is Desert Trip, held last year on the grounds of the Coachella Festival, with a campaign, as you can see, that is quite comparable to how music festivals to youngsters are campaigning or are communicating. But the average age was 51. And it's especially if you look at the lineup was not really the latest DJs. And still it was a huge success. It sold out in 3 hours, brought in $150 million, exceeding the Coachella record sales of $84 million. Because, yeah, you know, middle-aged people, they want to have the fun as well, and they want to do the same things as kids. And that's the flat age society. The narrative on older age is really changing as well in marketing campaigns, and that's high time. Many brands in fashion are experimenting with older models. Think of the Gucci campaign for spring and summer with Vanessa Redgraves, a 79-year-old actress, or there was Lauren Hutton for the Calvin Klein campaign, 73-year-old. And then this 80-year-old actor is quite popular in China, Wang Deshun, 80 years old, but still an active DJ, catwalk model, and often used in advertising as well. And he looks cool, and I mean, he's 80 years old. So, yeah, things in society are changing, and that's the first part of the paper that I've just summarized for you. It's a fragile world. Things are not the way they used to be. There are more singles, otherhood instead of motherhood, and it's a flat age society with midorexia as well. The second part of the paper is all about how are NextGen reacting to that? How are they changing their behavior? And the good news is that, well, it's typically a phenomenon that the young are more open to changes and to innovations. They do have an agile mindset. And I know it's a bit of a hype term, being agile, but it's clear among young populations that they know how to play the system and to change the system as well in their advantage. So the first part of this chapter is on how NextGen is combining a micro aspect, micro me aspect. It's all about me, my identity, as well as a macro aspect. And the macro aspect is all about a changing world, but also the we feeling, the group feeling, and a changing society, and how they can create a better world today. Let's first have a look at the micro me aspect. Of course, you know, it's all about personalization. And when I talk to Levi's, I've interviewed Anit van Ende, who is CMO of Levi's Europe. She said, Joeri, we have totally changed our retailer strategy if we compare it to a couple of years ago. Today we have installed certified tailors in our main stores with the Levi's Tapered and Tailored campaign. And these tailors will completely alter our products to the needs of our customer. So if you are a NextGen or a midorexia suffering middle-aged, and you go to a Levi's store, and you say, oh, you know, the 501, I want to change the 501 authentic model a bit because I want to make it more skinny, or can we create like a hot pants 501? They will do it in the store, and they will patch labels on top of it. They will change the way the product looks like, just to cater to your personal needs. Now, this may seem like, yeah, it's a personalized society today, but Levi's is the creator of the first pair of jeans back then when Levi Strauss invented the jeans. And the 501 is the iconic brand, and still Levi's today says, yeah, but if our customer wants to do something different with our iconic jeans, let's just give him the power to do it. And that's really a difference today. And it's really needed, of course. Levi's is doing it because NextGen wants to do stuff themselves. They want to do it themselves. I'm not sure if you know this supermarket. It's the most sustainable supermarket in Europe. And I know these two girls, they don't really look Gen Z or millennial aged, but it's a flat age society. And they're shopping inside Albert Heijn, Dutch retailer, in Purmerend in the Netherlands. It's a store that is 100% carbon neutral. They have 700 solar panels on top of the roof to actually collect the energy. They use motion censored LED lights, and they also have their internal greenhouse. They're growing the herbs internally inside the store, because then you skip the transports and the impact on the planet. And as a side effect, people can actually cut their herbs themselves inside the greenhouse, just like they would do it in their own garden. So it's really the do-it-yourself feeling. Another example in the restaurant business is this restaurant Zao in Tokyo, where the Japanese, there's also one in Hong Kong, can catch their own fish before the chef is preparing the fish for them. So they first have to be part of the production process, which makes it more do-it-yourself. It makes it more authentic even. And this is the new way of looking at authenticity. Instead of authentic storytelling, this is really being part of the production process, and it makes it more individualized, hyper-personalized, and more relevant for NextGen. Another example is what Adidas is doing in Berlin. In Berlin, they have this pop-up store called Knit Yourself, and that's actually what you're doing. It's almost like knitting a sweater yourself. You start with a smart body scan to have your perfect size. Then you design your own sweater, you choose your own visual patterns, and then you have to wait for 3 hours because the knitting machines inside the store will knit the sweater according to your pattern and to your size. But it takes 3 hours, so it's really as if you're creating it yourself. The next step in this hyper-personalization is hyper-adaptive products. Hyper-adaptive products actually means that the products are changed during the consumption or while you're shopping. And one example is what CoverGirl is doing. CoverGirl, the magazine, but also a licensed brand, has this cosmetic brand in which they are working together with an augmented reality startup called Modiface. And what you do with Modiface is you take a selfie. It's quite popular among NextGen. The selfie automatically scans your skin tone and will select the right blend of foundation, so that you don't have to choose between the 50 shades of Rihanna, but you actually create a product that is really very close to your own skin tone. So a hyper-personalized product, you could say. Even in cinemas today, this is View Cinemas in the UK, they're experimenting with the lean forward instead of laid-back programming. What happens during this movie is you have to choose with an app every 2 to 3 minutes what will happen next in the story. So the story evolves according to the reaction of the audience. I think that took like 4 hours of footage to create a movie of 90 minutes. So every time you go to the same movie, it will be a different movie if you want. So they're hoping that NextGen will come back up to 7 times to see a different movie that they're actually selecting. Not really sure this is the future of cinema, but at least it gives an impression of how content providers are experimenting with the do-it-yourself and hyper-adaptive products as well. Netflix is already using this in children programming. Of course, it's easier in a one-on-one OTT connection with the content. You just select and then the story evolves just like on the internet. It's a bit harder if you have a group of 200 or 300 people watching a movie. So that's the first part of microfying macroness. The second part is related to a macro feeling. And macro feeling means that NextGen is looking for more meaningful brands, more relevance in communications. And one of the interviews I've done was in Switzerland, in Zurich, where I spoke to the head of the commercial operations. And I'm not sure if you know Freitag. It's a beautiful brand. It was created, I think 20 years ago by 2 designers who wanted to create a messenger bag to carry their designs that was neutral to the planet. So that was 100% recycled. And the way they do it is they buy the truck tarps of trucks in Europe and then bring them to Zurich, to the factory, where the truck tarps are washed and cleaned and also cut, designed to create a bag from this. And then every part of the bag is totally recycled material. Now, 2 years ago, they were thinking, yeah, but if our DNA is to bring recycled material, what about the second life of our second life products? Because, if you don't like your bag anymore and you throw it on the garbage, in the garbage bin, then you're creating waste again. So then they came up with fabric, F-fabric. And it's a new kind of fabric that is totally biodegradable. They did this invitation for the press that would dissolve within 3 months or self-destruct. And if you buy clothes from Freitag and you throw them on a compost, they will disappear within 3 months. So they don't leave any waste at all, except for the metal button, and you have to unscrew the metal button to use on your next pair of jeans. Now, this idea of second life, third life, fourth life, impact on waste, it also became more important when you connect with NextGen. We call it forever and ever aspect, and there's this brand in the UK in the coffee industry called Halo. And they're creating an alternative for plastic and aluminium capsules, because they will say in their movie, every minute there's 13,500 plastic and aluminium capsules that's thrown away on landfills, and it's not rotting away because it's plastic and aluminium. And they created an alternative made of bamboo and paper pulp that will dissolve again in 3 months if you throw it on the compost. If you go to the website of Halo, it keeps a live counter of the amount of aluminium and plastic capsules on landfills, and it would take you 15 years to scroll down the website, so you can keep on scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and after 15 years of time, you will finally come to the end of the website, because that's the total pile of packaging that you will find of these plastic and aluminium ones. So, forever and ever, let's go on to the next topic.
Post from someone, opinion from someone, belated birthday wishes from someone, picture of someone's baby, 753 more pictures of someone's baby, someone checked into an airport, someone on vacation telling you they like being on vacation, someone you've never met wants to be your friend, someone likes music, someone you don't remember likes something, live stream of kittens, someone comments about something, someone comments about the comment, someone invites you to join a game you don't want to play, someone shares a petition to save narwhals, an ad for that thing you already bought.
Quite a fast 30-second commercial of Nike to promote running by summarizing using Facebook for 45 minutes. And so they saved you 44 minutes and 30 minutes and 30 seconds. And that will allow you to go for a run. Brings me to the next topic. And I know we talk a lot about AI, artificial intelligence in marketing. But AE, the attention economy, is quite important as well if you want to connect with NextGen. The attention economy means that, of course, time is the new currency. We all suffer from a lack of time, and that's already scientifically proven because we have many more things on our schedules today. And the attention economy also means that we are all, as marketers, we're competing for this short attention span of the next gen. And one of the quotes of a guy, Ivo, who works for eBay, during our interviews was, I'm not really sure that NextGen is looking for brands. They are more looking for fast solutions, the fastest solution and the best solution, more innovative solution related to their needs. So they need something very quickly. And the next case I want to confront you with and ask your reflection is from a Spanish car make, Seat, who is today selling their cars on Amazon in France. And you can order a car, a Seat car, on Amazon in France and get it delivered within only 72 hours. Do you think this is really true, or do you think it's an alternative fact? Again, it's an alternative fact. They did an experiment in October last year for 1 month, and they sold 30 cars with a limited edition they announced together with Mango, the fashion retailer. So 30 cars sold in 1 month. That was doubling the expectations. And of course, it's predicted that most car manufacturers will move to this online sales of their cars today in China again, on Alibaba and AliExpress. You can already order your car online. So it's only a question of weeks before you can do it in the rest of the world as well. Why? Because, yeah, there is a business in busyness, if you call it in that way. And it means that some of our clients are finding ways to use this busyness as their business. MasterCard is one of our clients, and we did a research study with insights for them in which we were researching a new tool, which is called a selfie pay. You can literally pay within the blink of an eye by doing a selfie, and then you have to blink the eye to make sure that it's really you and you're not just taking a picture of the one of whom you just stole the iPhone from or the mobile phone from. So MasterCard selfie pays, paying with a selfie. It is expected that face recognition becomes more important to the industry because most mobiles are going in that way of authentication instead of the fingerprint. So KFC, for instance, again in Beijing in China, is already using these cams at the entrance of KFC. You pass by the cam, it automatically detects your face, recognizes you, and reorders your last order because most of the people they all want the same burger again. And of course, there's the Amazon Go project in Seattle on their campus, which we call Walk Right Out, WRO shopping. You just walk in, take whatever you want from the shelves, and then your mobile phone tracks what you've took from the shelf. So there's no need for cashiers, there's no checkout anymore. And again, Alibaba is already doing this live today in Hangzhou with the cashier-free gift shop, where you can get whatever you like without paying. Well, you're still paying, but your mobile phone is arranging the payments. In the UK, this year also, Sainsbury announced that they would use bikers to deliver up to 20 items from Sainsbury to your home if you live in central London within 1 hour. So you select it online, and within 1 hour there's this biker at your doorstep with the items you need. And the funny thing is that Sainsbury was already doing this type of service in 1882. So they're actually going back to their roots, going back to the reason why people wanted to buy something with Sainsbury, the convenience and the fast delivery, because it's needed today. Because, consumers have developed an agile mindset. They want things faster. There is a business in business. They want seamless payments. They want products that will last forever, or at least that don't have an impact when there's a second life and third life. They want micro-me products that are hyper-personalized or hyper-adaptive even. And they also want brands that do something back for society because they're dreaming of creating a better society. So meaningful brand and purpose is more important.
Scheiße, ich krieg das nicht auf. Oh, Scheiße. Also hier ist die pinke Creme, die ich euch zeigen wollte.
Bruder Julian, was geht ab? Was chillst du hier einfach auf dem Boden rum?
Snappst du gerade oder was?
Ja.
Unfassbar für euch, dass ich jetzt schon wieder mit Schlafanzug im Bett liege, oder? Euer Tag ist mittendrin und meiner endet gleich schon. Ich weiß nicht, was bei mir im Moment falsch läuft, aber mein Schlafrhythmus ist sowas von im Arsch. Ihr habt ja in meinem letzten Snap gesehen, wir haben gerade mal irgendwie noch nicht mal 8:30 und wir sind schon so müde, dass wir uns einfach schon ins Bett legen.
And this goes on for a while. I won't show the entire movie on YouTube. I'm not sure if you know this girl. Obviously, she's a German vlogger. Her name is Bianca Heineken. And 4 years ago, she started her own fashion beauty vlog. It's called Bibi's Beauty Palace. In the meantime, she has nearly 5 million subscribers on YouTube. And when I was interviewing the guy who was responsible for Nivea, the Beiersdorf brand in Hamburg at the headquarters of Beiersdorf, he said, this girl completely changed our way of looking at NextGen, because 2 years ago she suddenly was launching her own line of showering products called Bilou, with fantastic scents or variety names like Splashy Melon, Vanilla, Cake Pop, Tasty Donut, Creamy Mandarin. Now, what he said was, when we were looking at our Nielsen figures, we suddenly saw a decline in our market share, and this girl, Bianca Heineken, back then 22 years old, a YouTube star, was able to create a market share that went from 0% to 15% in the teenage market within only 2 months. And it clearly had an impact on a mature market. And the reason why it has an impact is, of course, because influencers became more important. You can call it influenza, like it's a disease or a virus even. It's viral marketing for sure. And many times people react to this and say, yeah, but these vlogger things, you know, it will disappear again. Because at a certain point, NextGen will understand they're also sponsored, they're also commercial. But I'm not really sure that will happen, because if we look at, and don't worry, this is the only graph I will show you. When you look at some tracker we did for SBS in the Netherlands, one of our customers, and thanks Gert-Jan for using this graph, we saw that when we asked what is your favorite way of spending an evening of entertainment, that there is quite a difference in generations, where YouTube for Generation Z is obviously quite more dominant than live TV watching, especially if you compare it to the older generation. And recent studies, Vanity for instance did a study on this, have shown that the emotional attachment to YouTubers, vloggers for Generation Z is 7 times higher than the one they have with TV personalities today. Main reason, these YouTubers, they are their own age, they are real, they create content on the social media that they're using, and they're aspirational as well, because they have the same age, but they're a bit more successful in getting likes and getting views on the social media than they have. But it makes them more persons, more authentic. And when we talk about reality in marketing, we tend to talk a lot about augmented reality and the Pokemon hype. The Pokemon Go hype we've seen some summers ago is still always part of every presentation on augmented reality. We've been talking a lot about 3D glasses and virtual reality as well, but the real reality, the imperfect reality, the actual reality that vloggers are showing today to the young generations, they became really relevant. And they became relevant because many brands are abusing or overusing certain authenticity claims. And I have this example.
Authentic, bespoke, raw, artisanally crafted toilet paper, hand pulped and hand perforated the way toilet paper used to be. Come with us as we roll back 100 years of innovation, introducing quilted northern rustic weave, craft you can feel in every square. It's tissue that's genuinely tree to toilet for a more memorable bathroom experience. New quilted northern rustic weave, also available in small batch, cedar loom, and extra virgin birch. Quilted northern rustic weave, designed to be remembered.
Crafted, local, artisanal. I think many multinational brands have overused these claims, and some time ago, some of our clients responded to this and said, Insights, we have a problem because we are a multinational and young people, they only want locally crafted brands. And I can understand this frustration, but the wrong thing to do is actually to try and imitate, pretend something that you're not. Because, of course, next gens are the most marketing savvy generation ever, and they will immediately detect that it's not locally crafted, it's a multinational. Another way to respond to this is actually being proud on your roots and going back to these roots and actually going back to the basics, which is what McDonald's has done for their coffee business in the UK.
Just want coffee.
We call it madness. 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 We call it madness. It's plain to see. That is what they mean to me. Madness. Madness. I call it madness.
Right, can I have the Wi-Fi password, please?
Yeah, sure. It's fly high with your dreams.
That's £9.
I'm a cafe. Great tasting coffee.
There you go.
Simple.
Thanks.
Simple, and basically you can expect what you order. Quite important if you're really a global brand. I come to the last case study and the last one on which you can reflect. I can ask you how many of you had every option right up till now, but I know from the experience that it will be a small number. So if you did have everything right, then you must be very proud. And this is your last time to actually have an option right, or to actually be the winner of this interactive quiz, you could say. And it's related to this guy. Do you know this guy? This is Jack O'Neill. Jack O'Neill, he invented the wetsuit allowing surfers to surf in cold waters all year round. And he's also the founder of the O'Neill swimwear company, creating bikinis and swim shorts and other material as well. Now, as you can see, Jack lost his eye when he was actually testing one of his products in the process of testing a new product. Do you think this complete story is true, or do you think it's an alternative fact? This one is really true. This is a complete 100% truth. This is the real Jack O'Neill, or I must say, unfortunately, it was the real Jack O'Neill, because Jack died in August of this year after we have written the paper. At the age of 94, and he was still living on the beach, enjoying the ocean and surfing. And he actually lost his eye. He invented the wetsuit when he lost his eye when he was testing the leash, the lifeline between your board and you as a surfer. Now, Jack, the real artisanal actually behind the company, it also means that it is important to increase the touchability of your brands today, to get the real actual reality feeling. Instead of making claims that you're pretending, there are some claims that you can use. And it's often related to the reason why your brand was created, the reason why it became successful. Although today it might be part of a holding, there is still the DNA of the brand. So go back to the DNA, think of why did people actually like this brand as opposed to competitive brands or other options. And also use people. Because that's what vloggers are doing. Vloggers are just communicating on a daily basis, just like me today, speaking to you live in person. That's what NextGen is liking today. And some new economy brands like Tesla, they're already using, of course, the CEO, like in this Twitter campaign where Elon Musk was communicating directly with clients and listening to their complaints to immediately act upon the complaints. For instance, he introduced the idle fee for $40 you have to pay when you leave your car at the charging station when it's already supercharged, to dissolve this problem where people were complaining about not finding a charger. And he did this within 6 days after doing this Twitter campaign. So he's touchable, he's acting upon complaints, and that's really what today's customer likes. Starbucks, also being confronted with slow dripping coffee bars with local crafted coffees created by baristas, actually thought, yeah, but we have baristas as well. The people working for our stores, they are creating your coffee just like another barista would do it in a smaller shop. It's not because we're a global brand that we don't have real people creating the real coffees. So they did this Barista Original campaign in which they asked 7,500 locations in the US, ask one of your staff members to come up with a brilliant recipe for a new coffee, a new blend that we haven't created before. And then they supported it with doing regional advertising, online advertising, using the picture or the cartoon and the name of the guy or girl who created that recipe. Emphasizing actually the local part again, but also, of course, the people, the touchability behind the brand. So one way of getting more authenticity again, it's talking about people. It's increasing touchability. It's also about becoming more transparent, which is also something that NextGen customers expect. This example, Hutton Bakery in the Netherlands, biological bakery with some social employing goals as well. And it's an open house for consumers. Consumers can visit the factory. They can actually sign up to help creating the cookies so that they can see what's happening in the factory. It's a glass house. And some last things related to creating more authenticity is related to creating an experience, of course. We call it experience in the paper. It's an expedition and an experience. And some brands like a Unilever, they did it, for instance, with Magnum pleasure bars, but also with their tea brand. They're creating pop-up stores where people can do it themselves, can actually create their own Magnum by double dipping it in the finest Belgian chocolate, of course, with extreme toppings, flowers, gold, and then it's a total experience, creating touchability again and the real feeling of brands. And the last way of doing it is going back to the roots. I already mentioned it a couple of times. And Heineken, for instance, one of our customers as well, is doing it for some of their brands. Heineken has over 200 different beer brands from all around the world. And one of them is Tiger. Tiger is an Asian brand that used to be the brand that you're drinking together with street food. So they went back to this DNA and are giving grants up to $3,700 to startups, millennial Chinese people that want to start up their street food stall can receive a grant of Heineken. And they're using this supporting street food idea as the way to communicate their main brand DNA. So to summarize this last part of the paper, we were talking about actual reality, bringing back the authenticity, because if we look at influencers today, vloggers, it's successful because they're real people with real faces, imperfect, just like me talking to you. Big is not necessarily bad if you understand why people are still buying your main brand. So go back to that DNA, increase the touchability of the brand, the people behind the brand, the ones who are creating the brand, who are delivering it every day to your customers. Create more transparency, track and trace, and going back to the roots are made for walking. This is about the end of the webcast. We still have some minutes for your questions. If you haven't sent your questions yet, you can still send them to this mail address, marketing@insights-consulting.com. If I cannot answer to them straight away in this webcast, I will make sure that I will answer them in person by replying to your email. Or if you have a Google account or a Gmail account, you can use the live chat to the right of the screens for any question. Thanks again for your interest. Again, you can read more if you're still looking for something to read near fireside this Christmas season. You can still download the paper www.insights-consulting.com/fragile. There you will find the paper. And then as a last slide, these are my data if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, for instance. Also, if you're interested in organizing an in-company presentation that is really targeted to your industry, I do customize this presentation with specific illustrations and case studies more directly related to your specific industry. And we also create a gamified workshop using a game board and a casino game to help people to understand our insights, which is something we like to do at Insights Consulting. We like to create these insights that are really active within your organization. Thanks a lot for your interest for the time. There are no questions at this point. If you still have questions, again, this is my email address. You can also directly send me an email with your questions, and I would be happy to hear your feedback and to come back to your questions. Thanks for your time, and see you next time.